You hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hey, how are
I'm
you?
I'm doing good. How are you, brother?
Um,
And welcome here on this Sunday afternoon. It is June 15th, 2025 at 1:02 p.m. Central. That would be 2:02 Eastern Standard. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers. And it might be a good idea if I put on my microphone, Logan said. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers. As I said, we are live 1:03 p.m. Central, 2:03 Eastern Standard. I was going to take off Father's Day and spend time with the family. I'm still spending time with the family, just on the air. Logan is in the control room, and Melissa just brought me coffee, so we're good to go. We didn't really want to come on the air today, but the news warrants such a broadcast here. Tweet, text, email, Facebook, Getter, Truth, social, whatever it is you do, spread the word that we are live, that we're going to bring you an update. As the rockets have been raining down the last few minutes in Tel Aviv, particularly, we'll bring you footage and images of that. But it looks like the regime of Iran is on the verge of collapse. Some were saying this attack, this operation Standing Lion or Strong Lion, whatever it is they're calling it there in Israel, would go on for like 2 weeks. Some are saying they may be able to finish the regime off in a week. Now, there are also reports out there that President Trump is still asking Iran to come back to the table. I don't know. Why would you do that? Why not just go ahead and finish off the regime? Why would we want to ask people to, why would we want the mullahs to come to the table? Can I ask you that? Why? Why do we want the mullahs to come to the table at this point? Why not just finish them off? Let Israel finish them off. So that's a little disturbing to me. I don't know. I'm not sure what that is really all about, because I'm being told that all the countries that President Trump just came back with money in his pocket from secretly want Iran gone. They're tired of them too. So why the continued talk even today about going back to the table? There's also word that President Trump does not want the elimination of the so-called supreme leader. I would ask again, why not? I don't know. I don't know the answer to these things. I can only guess, and we'll find out from our panel, Dr. Rob Lindstedt, who's live in Israel. Our reporter on the ground, Aaron Lavarco, live on the ground in Israel, of course, and Annie Cyrus, born and raised in Iran, an expert on Islam and Iran and the Middle Eastern region. They all join us now. Folks, welcome back. Thank you for being with us, all three of you, here on Sunday afternoon at 1:05 Central, 2:05 Eastern Standard as we're live.
Thank you, Brannon.
Let me again ask our
Yeah.
audience to tweet, text, email, Facebook, Getter, Truth Social, whatever you do, tell everybody we're live right now. Also, if you get our apps, is it still worldviewtube.com/apps, Logan? worldviewtube.com/apps, APPS. You can get our apps for iPhone and Android, and you can set it so that you get notification. We do what are called push notifications. So if you want to find out when we're about to go on the air, if you have our app and you choose notifications, you'll get a push. Logan just put out a push. And anyone that has the iPhone for sure should get a note popping up that we're about to go live. And that would happen with Android as well, right, Logan? All right, so worldviewtube.com/apps. If you don't know how to set up notifications, ask the teenager in your family, your grandchild, your nephew, your niece. Go next door to the kid across the street if you have to, and hand them your phone and say, how do I turn on the notifications on this app? He'll know what, or she'll know what to do. They live and breathe these phones. So they are a kid at one of your church. You go to church or somewhere. Yeah, even a teenager or a college student that's stocking the shelves at Walmart or your grocery store will know how to tell you to turn these notifications on. Just find a young person. They'll help you. That's what I do. I have a control room full of young people that do this kind of thing for me all the time. All right, there we go. worldviewtube.com/APPS. Let's go right away to Aaron. Aaron, I was just looking online. We have been, of course, all night till I went to sleep. First thing this morning, all day, studying, researching, bringing in clips. And rockets were just raining down on Tel Aviv. But yesterday, you guys took some direct hits from what look like ballistic missiles, something the Iron Dome has a hard time keeping up with. We're hearing 14 confirmed dead, last I heard, 35 missing. What's the latest on the ground there in Israel?
Yeah, hi, Brannon. That's correct. That's accurate. We are really struggling with the number of deaths, of casualties, almost 100 wounded. And of course, the families, they're just heartbroken. Our president, Isaac Herzog, came out with a statement of condolences. Bibi Netanyahu went to Bat Yam, which is like a neighborhood of Tel Aviv, and he visited some of the areas that have been totally wiped out. And he is furious because we are hitting not civilian areas, we are hitting nuclear or military or gas or oil, and we're trying to keep it away from civilians. Whereas the Iranians are doing the exact opposite, along with the Houthis from Yemen. So Bibi Netanyahu is taking this very personally, as is the whole nation. We're really feeling it. And we are hitting hard in retaliation. And of course, we don't know exactly the state of the wounded. As I said, up to 100. I've heard that some are in a serious condition, a lot in moderate to light. But we're feeling it. We've just come through the October the 7th war, and this, of course, is a part of it. But it's like to be hit so hard. But you know what? We are pounding Iran. We are making incredible inroads in ways that you would never imagine. To me, Brannon, the most spectacular thing I've read is that not only over the last months, but over the last years, we have been planning this. Just like the Pages story with Hezbollah, which apparently was 20 years in planning. So we've been planning this also for years. And one of the key ways we've been doing this is we've been dressing up as civilians and smuggling little pieces of this, little pieces of that through cars, through trucks, through bags, and we've been getting things in place. It's just amazing. This is another covert operation, and it looks like it is paying off big time.
In fact, let's go to this picture here. This is what is supposed to be, I guess, a car bombing in Iran. What we're hearing is that, Annie, there may be folks on the ground. Maybe the resistance on the ground is now taking part in some of these bombings, these car bombings in Iran. What are you hearing about the resistance on the ground?
Actually, the picture you're showing, Brannon, is in Tajrish, Tehran, and the fire flames you're seeing is a result of a bomb. And that's the area that they managed to kill the the chief of intelligence of Iran. So that specific one is not a car bomb, but there has been a series of car bombs and a smaller inside building bombs that some people started saying it's Mossad. My guess was, I don't think it is Mossad. I think it is the opposition inside Iran, basically trying to help Israel.
And when you say opposition, you're talking about everyday freedom-loving Iranians, Persians that want to be out from underneath this regime.
Exactly. Pretty much you can say the leaders of Mahsa Amini uprising are the ones that are coming out now, either coordinating protests. They are eliminating bigger numbers of protests because they don't want to get people killed through either attacks, bomb attacks, or the morality police, but they're also coordinating certain attacks. And as of right now, 16 Iranians, citizens inside Iran, have been arrested by IRGC for either accusations of collaborating and giving information to IDF, or posting on social media giving ideas to Israeli government, or cheering the war. So 16 people already arrested by IRGC.
Let's go to Rob Lindstedt. We'll come back to Annie for more. Rob Lindstedt is in Israel. Rob, you're leading a tour group. He's from the United States, folks. He's out of Wichita, Kansas. He's been there some 70 times. He can't get a flight out of Tel Aviv right now. Airport is down, closed. When are you thinking your group will get out, and where is your group moved to now?
Well, today we did cross the border from Israel into Jordan because we can get flights out of Amman. So that's what we're hoping to do. Some have already been canceled since we've made the switch over. Actually, it took us about 7 hours to cross the border. It should take 2 at the most, but so many people are leaving Israel, fleeing to Jordan. And tonight, just as I was sitting here, I dashed out because I could hear explosions with rockets going over the Dead Sea. We're close to the Dead Sea, although we're in Jordan, we're close to the Dead Sea. And of course, there's considerable excitement. Here's a huge difference between the situation here in Jordan and in Israel. In Israel, when we felt like there was a missile coming, or when the government knew a missile was coming, there's an alert that comes. And when that alert comes, we go to a bomb shelter in the hotel. Every hotel has bomb shelters. Here, we've been told there's no bomb shelter, but they've asked us now to stay in place in a room.
And that video right there is in Jordan, I'm being told, right there. The one next to you on the screen, Dr. Rob. Okay. They're being intercepted in Jordan.
Yeah, well, I'm glad they're being intercepted. I want to keep that airport open. We're anxious to get home. Aaron mentioned something else that I want to touch on as well, and that's fatigue. You know, we've only been here a week or two when it's really been intense, or let's say a week, very intense. And so your rest is interrupted. We had 3 times in 1 hour we went down to the bomb shelter, and I think a total of 5 times in a 3 or 4 hour time. By the time you do that, you can see how it would be fatigue on those, especially young children and mothers. There was no school for a couple of days when we were there. There was businesses were closed. Matter of fact, the hotel that I was in, when we left, they've closed down for the next 2.5 months because all the tour groups and tourists coming normally that would be here this time of the year, they've canceled. So this is having a tremendous strain on people just in terms of their daily life, the fatigue of every few hours running to a bomb shelter. Our guide who traveled with us to the border, turned around, went back to Israel. She's back in the bomb shelter right now. And so we've learned a little bit about war fatigue. I think that's important because, you see, we're so used to freedom that we forget what it's like. It's easy for us to say, okay, just live with things the way they are. They can't. They cannot live like this. We were talking to some who's grown men, their husbands, their grown children. They've been fighting since October the 7th, a year ago, 500 or 600 days, not a single day off. And so how do you continue to do that? I can see why they say, we can't wait any longer. We must put an end to the war. And as we're doing that, I think we have to look at the bigger backdrop. I think that's the immediate one. That's the close one. That's the one that I'm feeling tonight as I hope to put over half my group on planes to go to different parts to leave the war zone. It is a war zone. But I think the bigger thing is to say, okay, how does this fit in terms of Bible prophecy? How does it fit in terms of the overall support of America for Israel?
Yeah, how does it? Well, how do you think so?
Well, again, I see the alignment of nations as really important. I watch Iran, and Iran has been seriously hammered. But as I continue, and I went back and read Ezekiel 38 about 3 times today just to make sure I had it clearly in my mind. Every time I watch a news story, I want to put the Bible in my mind. I want to be a better student of the Bible than I am of the news, because the news changes every hour, but the Bible never changes. And so again, I see Russia leading the attack in the nations against Israel. And of all things, here's Russia posing as a host for these runaway Iranian leaders. Many of them have died, but those that haven't died, they're fleeing to Russia, of all things. So Russia is getting a collection of Assads, runaway Iranians, and I really think that that's important, that Russia somehow or another becomes a driving force. I think the other thing I see is that I can just see the world saying, wow, Israel let up on on Iran. They cannot let up on Iran. As long as there's breath there, as long as there's reactors there, as long as there's missiles flying, how do you say let up on them when literally they wanted to? I read an article. They wanted to send 1,000 missiles because they were hit so hard. They can only send 100 to 200 missiles. But in the meantime, they killed 10 people in Tel Aviv. They wounded 100 to 200 people. How can you say let up on them?
And yet we're hearing today, Rob, and I'm going to get a response from all the members here, that Reuters is reporting that President Trump vetoed Israel's Israeli plan to kill Iran's supreme leader. This is what a U.S. official is saying. How is this playing in Israel right now, Aaron?
Yeah, this has been a major article on the news, as well as Trump trying to wager some kind of mediator. He was talking with the leaders of Qatar and with and with Putin. And he's asking Putin and some of the Qatari leaders to act as mediators to bring us both to the table. Now, listen, in my opinion, as Dr. Rob was saying, we cannot let up, and we've got an excuse not to let up, and that's the nuclear issue. I believe Trump knows it. I think Trump's playing the game, but we cannot go to a ceasefire like we've done with Hamas. We cannot allow that to happen. We've got the momentum. We've got to strike. We've got to continue to get them on the surprise, and they are scrambling. I read a report today that there was a truck carrying a ballistic missile, and it left the ballistic missile and the truck, and the driver just fled because he was afraid of getting hit by the Israelis. They're running scared. So the momentum's there. We've got to keep on going, and Bibi is keeping on going. Our defense minister, he is on fire, and so. But no, now's not the time for mediation. Now is the time.
Well, this is President Trump's tweet today. He's wanting a deal. Why would you be trying to make? Let me read it. Iran and Israel should make a deal, and will make a deal. Iran and Israel should make a deal, and will make a deal, just like I got India and Pakistan to make. In that case, by using trade with the United States to bring reason, cohesion, and sanity into the talks with two excellent leaders who were able to quickly make a decision and stop. Also, during my first term, Serbia and Kosovo were going at it hot and heavy, as they have for many decades. And this long-time conflict was ready to break out into war. I stopped it. Biden has hurt the longer-term prospects with some very stupid decisions, but I will fix it again. Another case is Egypt and Ethiopia and their fight over a massive dam that's having an effect on the magnificent Nile River. There is peace, at least for now, because of my intervention, and it will stay that way. Likewise, we will have peace soon between Israel and Iran. Many calls and meetings now taking place. I do a lot and never get credit for anything, but that's okay. The people understand. Make the Middle East great again. End quote. Annie, why would you want to keep talks when they're about ready to actually bring down the whole Iranian regime? Why you want to talk and prop up this regime?
Can I first address the truth you just read? Mr. President Trump, at the moment, lives are at stakes. Nations are on fire. Nobody cares about your ego. So stop putting a long truth, crediting yourself, and then complaining for not getting credit. Let me tell you why you're not getting credit. When you tried to make peace between Pakistan and India, you didn't make peace. You bought time for Pakistanis to come up with a better plan to kill Indians. And the list goes on. I'm sorry, I just had to get out of my
Well,
chest.
we don't ask you to restrain yourself. So just so our audience knows, none of these commentators here have ever received an email or a text from me telling them, don't see this, don't say that, tone it down, don't do this. Guys, can you guys all admit I never control what you say?
Absolutely,
That's
Brannon.
right.
I never do. So, Annie, I don't want you holding back because you're afraid some MAGA people will get upset. Because the truth is the truth. Let me just tell you something. God bless Donald Trump. But, I'm going to be here long after Trump is come and gone as a broadcaster. Okay? And my credibility and the truth is more important than any administration to me. Okay? Because that's what my audience counts on in my 35 years of doing this. That's why we're one of the largest independent, totally independent news organizations out there with about 1 million views a day now. because they know that I'm not in the tank for anybody other than truth. All right. So Annie has the freedom. All of my guests have the freedom to say whatever they want. And if you guys, any of you watched my panel, what was that, Friday night? Not all of our panelists were agreeing. They were disagreeing. They were taking issue with each other on some points, but they all like each other. They agree on the majority of things, but they all know they have a platform here where they can speak. So if that upsets a few people that want to be committed to personality versus principle and truth, then this network's probably not for you. Okay, so with that, go ahead and don't hold back, Annie.
Thank you. So why would Trump want it? It's actually interesting because I'm actively working on a Substack right now because I think it's time for people to remember the truth and kind of eliminate the lies that's been fed for 46 years to them. The Iranian and Jews or Persians and Israelis relationship has always been alliance, except the last 46 years of the government of Iran becoming an enemy. And that is why Trump want to continue these negotiations and create peace. Number one, this isn't even my opinion. I'm stealing it from another Iranian expert who was on air on Iran International this morning saying, at this moment, President Trump is still trying to stay the hero of Iranian people. What he doesn't understand is Iranian people will never consider him a hero as long as he's enabling the Islamic regime. Now, I agree with him 100%, but just reading through the truth you just read, the reason Trump prefers to continue the negotiations, get in there and make some sort of peace deal or ceasefire between Iran and Israel, number one is his ego. So on the next truth, he can add this one to the list of, look what I did. Number two, he worries about making the biggest deal in the history when it comes to Middle Eastern peace deals. And that's all it matters to him. He doesn't care about people of Iran, regardless of what he said during his campaign to Iranian Americans. He doesn't care about Israeli people. And clearly, he also doesn't care about Lord, even though on his speech last night at the parade, he said, we always win, and I'm paraphrasing, we always win, America always wins, because we're always under the mercy of God Almighty. President Trump, this is about good versus evil. This is about group of people, mullahs, regime of Islamic Republic, trying to completely wipe the chosen people of Lord off the map. The fact that you even want to give them another minute, another tank of oxygen tells me what you said on your speech was nothing but a script, and you don't even believe in what you said.
Aaron, I see you sitting there shaking your head yes while she's talking.
Brannon, can I just say what an incredible analysis Annie just gave? Really, that was superb, absolutely correct, in depth, and seeing the bigger picture. Well done, Annie. And I agree as far as especially the ego side. He wants to go down as a peacemaker. He's brought out the list, and like Annie said, I agree with him in that respect. You know, blessed are the peacemakers. But, you know, is he selling someone out in the process? Is he selling Israel out? Is he selling the Iranian people out? Who is going to pay a price for this? And getting people like Putin to be the peacemaker, the mediator.
Isn't Putin the one helping provide the Iran with fresh missiles?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, and then the Qataris, getting them to be the mediators. You know, listen, I'm definitely not saying Trump is the Antichrist. Definitely not. But some people say he may well be, because he's trying to be this peacemaker. He's trying to, you know, what's the word? He's trying to cater to everyone. Now, again, blessed are the peacemakers. Good on him. But he's making it very clear that this is not his war. He's not getting involved. And yet at the same time, he's also sending American troops. He's sending Navy ships. He's saying we may get involved. He's playing things pretty shrewd right now, but as long as he doesn't sell people out, and that's what I'm concerned about.
Look at this from Dr. Walid Faris. Some of you may recognize him by his picture more than his name, but he wrote on X, one of the more uninformed comments I often hear, especially from fellow Americans, is Iranians should have overthrown the regime a long time ago. Well, Johnny, guess who helped to stop them, he writes. A U.S. president who stood by the regime in 2009 while a real revolution unfolded in the streets. And an administration that transferred $150 billion to the regime between 2015 and 2016. Another that later sent over $10 billion more. If we truly want to support the Iranian people, we need to stop aiding the Khomeinists. Only then can the Iranian people have a real chance to free themselves. Well,
hallelujah.
Hallelujah, says Annie. And it sounds like President Trump is going to continue this list and trend if he keeps talking about bringing the mass murderers to the table to negotiate. You can't negotiate with these mass murderers. You can't negotiate with people that chant death to America, death to Israel. You can't negotiate with these people. They're just buying more time to restock and resupply. Right, Dr. Rob?
I'm so
Yes.
sorry, Dr. Rob, if I could.
Sure.
Forget about all the history we're talking about. Right this morning, Israel attacks one of the heads of IRGC in Tehran. In return, what did Iran do? Targets a synagogue. You tell me whose side we should pick today.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Dr. Rob?
No, that's okay. You know, as we watch people try to make a deal, and this is nothing new. You go back and for the last 20 years, matter of fact, I have a PowerPoint that shows all the deals they've tried to make. Every one of them has failed. But when you make a deal, it seems like there's several things that are always true. Number one, truth. What really is the truth? You can't make a deal unless both sides say, here, let's go with what's truth. That's not taking place. They're not acknowledging the fact that there are lives. Next, I would say timing. Let's say here's a man he's robbing you. Is this a time to say let's try to make a peace deal? No, we're in the middle of a war. And I really believe that by trying to negotiate, we're losing more lives than if we allow them to take out the cancer, to take out the wicked one that's there. There's one in this whole war that's wicked. And my fear is this. As I see what the Bible says, it says that in the last days, there's wickedness in high places, in governmental places. We're watching it. We're watching compromise. This is not negotiation. This is compromise. There's a big difference between negotiation and compromise, and we're compromising. What are we compromising on? Why is it not wrong to take lives of people that are innocent? Here's 10 civilians killed in Tel Aviv. What was their crime? I look at what they're trying to strike. They're absolutely going for civilian neighborhoods, as opposed to going for military targets for nuclear reactors. There's a complete difference between the objective of both these things. As long as there's no agreement on that, it's impossible to have a deal. This is not a real estate situation where we're making a money deal. This is a life situation. And this is a war situation. I really think he needs to have an advisor that is in tune with the Middle East. But I'm going to say this. We've heard the word Putin come up a number of times. Isn't it amazing that one of the cruelest men in the last 20, 30 years has been Putin? And yet he comes to this as though he's a peacemaker. He's in the middle of a war himself. How can he be a peacemaker?
Well, he's providing the missiles. He's providing the missiles to Iran that are killing the civilians.
And so we should know that this is why this is an evil situation. Sooner or later, people have got to be willing to say, you know what, here's the truth. Here's what's right. Let's go with that side and not say we're going to make a deal. No, let's go for what's right and wrong. Let's go for what's truth against what is false.
Aaron?
You know, Brannon, I wonder if the Ayatollah has started to see like Nebuchadnezzar, maybe he's starting to see the handwriting on the wall. He's lost practically all his generals. He's lost a lot of his scientists. I think the number now is 14. If he's starting to see the handwriting on the wall, what is he going to do? He's got to be tactical. He's got to be strategic. Maybe the only lifeline that he sees for himself right now is getting an outside someone like Putin to come in. Now, maybe Trump, we've been talking about this last 18 months. What is Gaza going to look like the day after? Well, maybe that's a question we need to ask now. What is Iran going to look like the day after? Who is going to fill in that gap? Is the Ayatollah just going to step aside? Is he going to bring out the white flag and surrender? Probably not. So what's he going to do? Maybe someone like Putin or the Qataris are going to give him this lifeline that he needs because he sees the handwriting on the wall. And maybe Trump, his strategic planning in this, we all know what it is. It's not just his ego, it's money. It's making America great again. Maybe he is calculating things from a financial, economic point of view. And let's not forget the issue of natural resources. He's obviously going to be thinking, what can I get out of this the day after? There's a lot of factors here. The other thing is, if the Ayatollah is seeing the handwriting on the wall, here's a big question that we here in Israel have always been asking. Does he have a surprise up his sleeve? Does he have a nuclear weapon like some people believe he does? Does he have chemical weapons? He keeps on threatening. He keeps on saying, all hell is going to break out on Israel. I just heard about a few hours ago, this war is probably going to take at least a few more weeks. Bibi said at the beginning, it's going to take at least 2 weeks. Some of the analysts are saying it's going to take at least a few weeks. So lots of questions here, but there's strategies and there's tactics going on. But bringing Putin in and Trump allowing it, I guarantee he's got some motives in this. And I would say it's probably financial motives.
Wow. Let's talk about the fact that Israel is flying so far now. Take a look at this map. You'll see bottom left, Israel, and they're flying all the way across Iraq, all the way over Tehran to the far side of Iran, striking Mashhad Airport. That is a massive way. So the airwaves are the skies are now clear pretty much over Iran. I have heard today, I can't confirm, but I've heard that Israel has not encountered any dogfights with Iranian Air Force. Is that true, Annie?
Yes, that is true. And the distance you were just showing is 2,300 kilometers from what you see on the map. And yes, it is true. There has not been. Honestly, it's almost strange. I don't want to. I have tried to stay unbiased and with facts until now, but it almost feels like the Air Force, Iran's Air Force, after their commander-in-chief was taken out, they kind of decided to listen to the prince. They haven't necessarily joined the people, but as of right now, 5 of them have been reported missing in action, and they were not targeted. Feels like they're just up and leaving, like they're just leaving their post. Yeah, that might be one of the reasons. It's the airways are becoming more and more clear. Because remember, Air Force of Iran does not report, nor does it work under IRGC. They are the Iranian people who work or serve in Air Force. They're Iranians. They're not the IRGC jihadists. So it seems like they're actually leaving their post and they're just taking their hands off Air Force.
You know, what I heard, Ani, is that Israel has full air supremacy over Iran now.
With today's attack on Mashhad Airport, absolutely. 2,300 kilometers is way too wide open.
Now, is this true? This is the IRGC headquarters in Tehran? That's been hit? Is that true, Annie?
Yes, that was the one I just said. This is what Israel is hitting. And in retaliation, Iran hit one of the synagogues in, I think, northern Israel.
So what is
Yes, that is the IRGC headquarters in Tehran, in Shahray.
Okay. Now, if they keep doing this for another week or two, there won't be a regime. So why is President Trump trying to get on the wrong side of history? I mean, I would think from a credibility standpoint, he's really hurting himself now. I don't know what, again, he's being told or promised or what, but he's going to look like not only did he not get a deal, but he was trying to bring the losing team to the table when they didn't have any more players on the team. I mean, he's already looking silly, but he's going to go from looking silly to extremely foolish if he doesn't stop posting like he is right now. Would you agree with that, Aaron?
Yeah, absolutely. And I quoted the verse from the Bible, and it keeps coming back to me. When kings come to power, they are not to increase in women, gold, and horses. Because when the kings did that, they compromised. And I believe that there's a hook in Trump that somehow he wants to increase. He wants to, again, it's not just his ego. It's making America great again, which is great. I want to see America be great again. But he is obviously trying to make the deal. That's what he's good at. And he came away with $1 trillion from the Middle East. I tell you, I'm pretty sure he's got some deep motives there, and I think it's got dollar signs written all over it. And that's what I said before. The thing is, who is he going to sacrifice? Who's going to pay the price for that? This is unwise by the look of it.
And of course, then we have to bring in the BRICS banking system: Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. And all the other countries that are part of the BRICS banking system. Is there is there Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates? Is there something going on there with that BRICS banking system that he's trying to cut some kind of deal with them, and therefore he needs to have his foreign policy look a certain way, which I don't understand, because we're being told behind the scenes, not publicly, but behind the scenes, a lot of these countries are really happy with what Israel's doing because they're sick of Iran themselves. Aaron?
Yeah, well, it could well be, Brannon, and let's not forget when when Trump first came to power 4 or 5 months ago, one of the first things he said is, "We're going to take over Gaza. Gaza will be ours." And I've talked about this a number of times, that it's not just Gaza for Gaza's sake. He has David Ben-Gurion's vision, which
of a port, putting that port through Gaza.
Of the port, which Gaza is a port, but then stretching David Ben-Gurion's vision, which is called the Peace Corridor, which includes India, Saudi Arabia. It's connecting West and East, but it bypasses Russia. It bypasses China. So I wonder if he's putting his hand in too many little kitties here. He may be biting off more than he can chew. I don't know how strong his foreign policy wisdom is. Maybe this is where he needs a better team. I don't know. I don't know enough about that. But I
will tell you one of the things that has me very concerned, and I want to hear from all of you on this. My concern is for either an actual attack in the country or a false flag attack. Again, I don't trust most of our deep state actors on a global scale, NATO and the rest of them. The CIA, segments, rogue segments, if you will, of the CIA per se. But something that because I think President Trump put out something yesterday or today, was it not, Annie, that if Iran strikes the U.S., if in any way they strike the U.S., we are going to come down on them so hard. Well, when I read that, I was like, well, there you go. Doesn't that push the deep state or deep state actors or proxies to carry out some kind of attack and blame it on Iran, even if it's not Iran, even if Iran's not in a position to even do anything right now? If they carry out some kind of attack and blame it on them in order to have the imagery they need of Americans dead, to get the will of the people to say, okay, now it's time to throw in on this. I'm very concerned about the media and the manipulation that goes on. But I want to show you this tweet by Sarah Adams. She had formerly been with the CIA, And she's out there talking a lot about the threat to our homeland and telling people they better be preparing for the threat to our homeland. She says, quote, "This was quite literally an al-Qaeda chemical lab that blew up inside one of their own camps. Our government can no longer deny the reality. Not only has al-Qaeda reconstituted its CBRN program, but chemical weapons are part of their upcoming plot against the U.S. homeland." So here's the real question. What's being done to prepare local communities for potential hazmat scenarios? Or are we going to wait for the sirens to start before taking this seriously? End quote. And that was also al-Qaeda likely accidentally blows up its own camp in Anino, wherever that is, that's Kandahar, Providence, Afghanistan, lest you now have proof the suicide vest work. At least you have that. So she's saying, are we going to wait? What about hazmat? Well, this audience knows we did a whole segment on biochemical warfare. Been warning about that for years with the 1999 publication of Unrestricted Warfare by the CCP. And we've been selling Israeli-made gas masks on our website now for about 2 years, telling people, you better have these. And trust you me, I have one for everyone that works for us, every family member, everyone that works for us, because God forbid something happens and we have a train track not too far from where we're at, and you have some kind of derailment, planned, orchestrated, caused, whatever, and you need to get out of town. Most Americans are not ready. You're going to be breathing in a lot of stuff before you're able to get out of town. Particularly if the wind's blowing the wrong direction. Maybe if the wind's not blowing your way, you'll be able to get out the back end somehow. I don't know. But Americans aren't prepared for this. And yet we know that we've got China already twice in a week being caught sneaking in biological weapons. One, of course, was going to hurt our wheat crop, apparently. Agro-terrorism, if you will. But here's the former CIA gal saying over and over, like we've been with Dr. Pride, Phil Haney, many others, you better, Gordon Chang, you better be prepared for an attack on the homeland. Most Americans are not. Annie?
Americans are not. And not just by equipment, they're not prepared by mentally.
Yeah.
Again, I'll repeat, on November when the election results were announced, and then on January 20th when the inauguration happened, I was one of the people who kept repeatedly saying, my fellow Americans, do not put your guards down. Do not go home celebrating. If you want to take a day or two, that's fine. But remember, nothing has changed. And look at it. Nothing has changed. This isn't my disappointment towards President Trump. No, this is me as an American. Right now, I'm not talking as an Iranian. I'm talking as an American. Show me what has changed. Nothing has changed except things has gotten worse. Trump administration has given key to the White House to convicted jihadists. They have given keys to Christians who practice magic and dark magic all day long. We are in a worse shape, but unfortunately, starting January 20th, a lot of Americans, their mindset changed into we're safe now. Aren't you getting tired of all the wins? We are, the glorious days of America is back under Trump. That is what's going to work against them the worst because they're not aware. Therefore, when it does hit, it's going to hit them off guard.
Very well said.
Because their mindset is in heaven now.
Mm-hmm. Dr. Rob?
I think she makes a great point, Annie, because you see, if we had let's say a ceasefire now, if we had a negotiated peace, what has really changed? The basic issues that caused the problem in the first place have not been addressed. And so all we've done is stall or delay the inevitable. I think there's another word that, right now it seems like the magic word with political entities, countries, and politicians. It's this idea of a ceasefire. Let's negotiate. Well, there's another word that I think is better, and that's the word surrender. Wouldn't it be better, instead of negotiating a peace, let's have a surrender? Because then we remove the corruption, we remove the evil. And so I want to start introducing the word of let's have a surrender. That way we can have a real start over instead of this negotiated peace that's only a compromise, and we haven't changed one basic thing. That's the thing that concerns me.
So you're saying President Trump should be calling for Iran to surrender and then let Israel and others go in there and set up a temporary government?
Absolutely.
and let the people choose.
That's exactly right. Yeah, let that regime surrender.
That's a very good point, Aaron. President Trump's narrative should be, I think he just found some of his counselors right here if he wants to bring in a legitimate team that knows the landscape. He should stop talking about a deal and be calling for Iran to surrender. Let America and Israel and others go in and help set up a temporary government for the people to vote in a new government.
Absolutely, and hopefully people like the prince, others are called in to help with that process. And I don't know what they would do with the Ayatollah if he surrenders.
Well, put him on trial and hang him like they did Saddam Hussein, for Pete's sake.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Maybe before they do that, they should convert him to Judaism and give him a circumcision. I don't know.
I love it. I vote yes.
Wow. Logan,
by the way, I have update that
we should cut that into a clip. Pardon the pun. We should cut that into a clip and put that one out there. Pardon the pun.
Make sure
on the
to
clip,
include my vote. That's important. I voted yes. We have confirmed reports with videos coming out that there are heavy lines of traffic on highways exiting Tehran. Citizens are leaving the capital, basically. I don't know where they're going to go, but this is good.
Yeah, I saw that image a couple hours ago, and I'll see if I can find it again. But the interstates were jammed, Annie. Yes.
People are just heading out, and there are some people are trying to just grabbing literally their kids, pillow and a blanket, and heading into underground metros across country. And that's another thing. Prince Pahlavi did a video this morning saying the fact that the international community is not seeing that Khamenei is using its people as a human shield. They haven't offered shelter. They haven't offered anything to people. They haven't. People are on their own. They have to go find safety or shelter.
And by the way,
typical Islamic playbook, right? Use your people.
Elon, Annie, has opened up Starlink over Iran. Is that right?
Not that I can confirm, no.
But have you heard that's being reported? Did you know that?
Yes, I heard that.
Mm-hmm. Being reported that he's opening up Starlink so that the people of Iran can spread on social media their resistance to overthrow the regime.
I hope he did. Actually, he did it during Mahsa Amini too, if I remember correctly. He did it during Mahsa Amini as well. So I would say most likely he has done it.
We are also getting reports that there are, in southern Israel, officials now confirm that no physical injuries occurred from the last missile strike. Despite earlier reports, first responders treated several civilians suffering from acute anxiety, and police report only property damage at the site. So thankfully, that's good. I do have a video, however, someone has posted out there on social media, and this is literally, folks, I'll play it, Iranians watching the bombing. They're watching Israel bomb their country, and they're taking videos and cheering. And you're literally about to see a guy bring up popcorn, distribute the popcorn while they watch Israel and cheer on Israel. I'll bring up the audio.
Well, Brannon, these people have been waiting a long time for something like this to happen. Hey, we in Israel also have been waiting for this. And we're not quite as ecstatic as these people. Good on them for celebrating. They deserve it. The suffering, the tyranny that they've been through. It's almost like I don't want to celebrate too early, but that first broadcast, the first night that the attack happened, Brannon, I could feel the excitement welling up within me. This is something we've talked about for years and years, and now we're in it. You asked me just a couple of days before, do you think Israel's going to attack? And I said, I don't know. And finally, we did it, and we're doing it, and we're doing it with all of our might. I just got an update, Brannon. 200 Israeli jets are on their way to Iran right now, 200. So this is going to be another massive strike. I'm kind of expecting, along with Dr. Rob, This is going to be maybe another upsetting night for us here in Israel. But maybe we're going to finish this off sooner than expected. I hope and I pray so.
There is that graphic, Rob. He loves the eliminated graphics. I think it was he that commented on that graphic. That's the head of the IRGC intelligence, right, Annie?
Yes, he is. Him and the second man under him, they were both targeted in the same building, both confirmed dead.
How do you think, one of our viewers, Jill, our editor actually, wants to know, how do you think Kamala Harris would be handling this if she were in the White House? Dr. Rob?
Well, I don't think she's ever solved a problem. And so I would say that she would probably be on an extended vacation because, and maybe that would be the best thing because, I think if we will allow Israel to do the job that they started, I think they will be successful. I think in the long run, it will save more lives. And so the last thing we need is one more politician to stand in the way of Israel doing what's right. And so God forbid that she would be in office. Trump at his worst is better than she is because she has no sense or feel for God. I really wish that there would be a way that godly counsel, biblical counsel could be given to the administration. This is a very difficult situation. And the Middle East is more complicated than any place in the world in terms of relationships. And so I think he needs people that have a good sense for the Middle East. And most of all, let's see lives saved in every country. How do you do that? You remove wicked leadership. And that's what Israel's about to do, whether they have help or not. I'm thankful that God has directed them to have this surprise attack. And right now, they're winning it, and they're winning it big.
Brannon?
Yes.
I have a really interesting question. When you look at what's happened in the last 18 months, the Houthis, Hezbollah, Hamas, now the Iranians, it's miraculous how we, who had our backs against the wall on October the 7th, how we've been able to turn this around. Just like the book of Esther, when, Haman wanted to kill us and God stepped in and turned the thing around. My question is this, how not only the Muslim people at large are looking at this, but I wonder how the Iranian, even the moderate Muslims, how are they interpreting this? Are they interpreting it through political eyes, military eyes? What about spiritually? Are they asking the question, maybe is the God of Israel better than our God, stronger than our God? Is this opening a vacuum for the gospel? Is this opening possibilities? Now, I know when they look at Israel, they don't necessarily think of the gospel because most Jewish people here don't believe in Yeshua, Jesus. But maybe it will open the door for that. I don't know. Maybe you or Annie or Dr. Rob knows an answer to that.
Well, that's funny because we just got an email from a listener asking that same question. Do you think the Lord is using this to bring a revival and open Iran for evangelism, Dr. Rob?
Brannon, I'm so sorry, Dr. Rob. Can you try to get on my Facebook page and find my first post?
I don't do
Facebook.
Don't.
Okay, let me try to send you a link.
Logan's doing it for me.
Okay, I'll text Logan. Sorry, Dr. Rob. Go ahead.
No, that's okay. Yes, I think that this is a great opportunity with the gospel. As we found ourselves in Israel and watching what was taking place, to the shock of the people there, even when we go in the bomb shelter, sometimes there would be singing, often we'd be reading, and so I think they saw that in the midst of the dark moment there was still hope, and that hope is because we know that God is going to prevail. That's the bottom line. God is going to prevail, and so I'm hoping that this will bring many people to Christ, both in Iran as well as in Israel and the other countries surrounding. When they see that God has outlined this whole scenario in the Bible and we're watching it play out before our eyes, I don't think we could live in a more exciting time. we're in the middle of a war, and we're watching God's word being fulfilled.
Yep. Here we go. Back to the U.S. for a minute. Man arrested after intentionally driving car in a crowd of No Kings protesters in Culpeper, Virginia. This is also we have had some people getting shot in one location. Let's see, where is that? I had it up here. Here we go. Oh, this is an ICE facility in Portland where they were throwing rocks at the police officers, hurled smoke grenades, and launched fireworks. I had another feed here somewhere earlier today where it looks like some folks were shot. Where'd it go? I guess I don't have it up here anymore. But people were being shot. There was a shooting. There were shootings yesterday as well. So here we go. Salt Lake City Police. No King shooters were protesters, and that's Salt Lake City. So back to the U.S. a little bit. More domestic problems here. And of course, many people like Trevor Loudon and others are saying there is CCP-tied individuals behind that. And of course, that's all America needs is that kind of destabilization while this is all going on. We are getting reports, Eddie, I don't know if this is true. You can tell me that this is people in Iran on the streets now and fighting even some of the police on the streets, that they're ready to get out on the streets. Is this true?
This is not a recent video.
Okay,
this
it's not
from years ago.
All right, well, that's why we always ask, because people recirculate garbage on the internet. Well, that's why we
trust me, as soon as anything confirmed of people marching on the streets, I will make sure to announce it and send you lots of videos.
But that was a few years ago, so that maybe it was important. Maybe it was we did play it. Is that one of the opportunities our government had to back these people and we pulled the rug out?
This is the Biden regime. This is Massa Amini time, 2022.
So instead of helping them, we gave them billions.
Yes, we did. And we told people to go home and be safe. That was part of our and if I could to answer your question, Aaron, since it's so interesting you asked, because this morning it was already in my head. Logan, if you could put that post up, I think the picture and the writing will answer your question. But there you go. This is what I believe is happening, Aaron, in Iran. I mean, Lord has been working through people of Iran for many years. Like the number of Iranians coming to Christ, we've never heard such a thing in the entire history of Persia, and we're talking about 2,700 years. And I do believe what is happening right now is God's last push for Iranians to stop and realize that they need to turn this country into a Judeo-Christian country. I'm not necessarily saying a Christian government, but this is my vision this morning. This is what I saw for a very near future of Iran.
Let's go to Logan. Logan has video footage of the synagogue that was hit by a missile coming in from Iran. There you go.
As of right now, the reports are saying, thankfully, there were only 4 minor injuries, and that's it. But you see, this is what evil looks like, Brannon. You target synagogues, and you claim this is about politics. No, this is all about Islam. Fight all Jews, right? Until the stones will tell you, oh, Muslim, there's a Jew hiding behind me, come and kill it. This is what they believe in. President Trump.
Where is the international community or the United Nations? This is kind of a sarcastic question. But where is the international community screaming at Iran, who is deliberately targeting civilians when Iran is not, or when Israel is not trying to target civilians, but is being very strategic as best they can? Where is the international community screaming, Iran, quit targeting civilians?
Well, I think that's why your channel is important, because you watch the other news outlets, and I do watch some of them, and they're not saying that. They're making every war the same, and there's a world of difference. You can't tell me that when Israel goes out of the way to avoid casualty among civilians, and then Iran's main source of hitback has been civilian neighborhoods in Tel Aviv. That just points the very heart of the matter. That's why it's so different. And to negotiate with these people, it's impossible.
Annie, we're hearing that some folks in Iran some forces inside. I don't know if it's civilians, if it's Mossad, who it is, but they have hit some of the critical infrastructure in that country, and that there is massive flooding in some of the streets.
Yes, there is major flooding in Tajrish in Tehran. There's major flooding being reported in Zanjan, another province that does have major, what do we call, what did you just call them? I'm sorry. In
infrastructure.
Thank you. And then also there's flooding reported in Bandar Abbas, which they hit the oil refinery yesterday. So yes, I can certainly confirm that. Now, there is no confirmation as to if it was hit from the Israeli bombs or it is another act of the opposition who are also doing the car bombings. We don't have any confirmation on that.
How much power is on in the nation of Iran?
Tehran was pretty much 90% dark all night last night. There was about 10% of areas that did have lights. I know Karaj had pretty much, after they hit the telecommunication areas, pretty much 50% of Karaj lost power all night. And as of right now, I still don't have update them having their power back. I don't know about the rest of the country, unfortunately.
Here is a great graphic to go to what I was saying a while ago. IDF's targets, military commanders, nuclear air defense systems, surface-to-air missiles, nuclear scientists. Iran's targets, homes, schools, civilians. There's the difference. Take a screenshot of that, folks. Take a screenshot of that and spread that around to your family and friends that want to bellyache about what Israel's doing versus Iran. Where is Tucker Carlson? Where is Candace Owens right now on this graphic alone, Dr. Rob?
Well, this, to me, it shows a big difference between the mindset of the countries. Israel's mindset is very different. Iran's mindset is very different. And by the way, Russia has the same mindset of Iran. That's why they get along, because their mindset is the same. People are not important. Power is important. And so I think that graphic really, I think, summarizes what it is. And that's why I want to be on the side of what's right. In the long run, it's better to be on the side of what's right.
Aaron, you have breaking news about the nuclear site, one of their sites and their centrifuges?
Yeah. What we're just talking about, what they are hitting and what we are hitting, not only this report that just came through, and this is what it says, while we attacked, the centrifuges were spinning. When the centrifuges are hit while they are spinning, they break into 1,000 pieces. If the Iranians had known about it 10 minutes earlier, they would have shut them down. It's a world of difference. It was one of the most dramatic things. And that's what I wanted to say. As I've been following the news and the damage control throughout the day, from what I'm understanding, and you know, I forgot the details. I wrote them down, but I don't know where I wrote it down. Apparently, one of the most important things in our attacks has been the main reason why we are attacking, and that's to go after the Iranian nuclear sites. And apparently, so far, we have been doing that with incredible success. Now, none of us really know what the Iranians have got hidden. Hopefully, this is where our years of military intelligence is going to pay off. Unless the Iranians snuck something under the carpet without anyone seeing, hopefully our intelligence knows where everything is and we're going to be going after it. And like I said a few minutes ago, 200 Israeli jets are on their way. But let's not forget the main reason for this war, everyone, why we opened up, is to go after Iran's nuclear capabilities. And it seems that we are doing that. So people out there who are listening, keep praying. This is for our survival. This is for your survival. This is for the West's survival. And to bring down this regime that overthrew the Shah of Iran in 1978, 79, and they've brought about this incredible Islamic revolution spreading all around the world. I wonder how Europe, France, England, Germany, Sweden, Norway, and those Muslims in America, I wonder how they're going to take this when they see the supreme leader of the Islamic Revolution in 1978, 79 downed.
What do you think the odds of that are? What do you think the odds are that we will see the elimination of the supreme leader, as they call him in Iran?
Look, based on what we did with Sinwar, what we did with Nasrallah, based on all of that, and today they were asked, I think it was at Trump or was it Netanyahu, are you going to go after the Ayatollah? And the answer was that option is not off the table. Well, what's another way of saying it's not off the table? By saying it's on the table. Brannon, I would be actually surprised if we didn't. I would be disappointed. I would be upset if we didn't. We can feel it here in the nation. We've got to do it, Brannon. We've got to take him out.
Here's video footage of the American air defense system, the THAAD, intercepting ballistic missiles from Iran. I believe this is actually outside of the Earth's atmosphere. That's how high up it is, which I think has something to do with the way the colors and the explosions look. Those things cost millions of dollars, I think I read today. The THAAD missiles, like a fortune. So,
millions of your dollars, Brannon.
I know. I read $21 million, but I don't know if that's accurate or not. But
you mean per missile?
Yeah, that's what I read, but that doesn't mean it's accurate. Well, we can look that up. How much does a THAAD missile cost, please? Let's see what you get. But talk about precision. I'm going to go back to that. People were mocking Ronald Reagan for this kind of thing. Remember when Ronald Reagan talked about this? They called it Star Wars and mocked him. Okay, the whole THAAD system cost $23 billion, but what's each individual missile cost? Look at that thing. Look at it intercepting, guys. One THAAD battery. One THAAD battery cost. One battery cost how much? $1 billion and 1.8.
Wow.
But I wonder how much the individual. That's not the individual missiles being shot, though, right? I heard those were like 21 million each. 15 million each, he's reading.
Well, that's a bargain if it saves lives.
Yeah, it's a bargain. The question is Israel buying that from us or are we giving it to them? I would think they're buying it from us, right?
Yes, I believe that's correct.
If not, then Trump is not very good at making deals. We're getting really screwed. I would think he ought to go ahead and be getting natural gas and oil and cherry tomatoes and flowers and fruit for the rest of our existence as a nation, right? Aaron?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I love me some cherry tomatoes. Woo, dog.
Yeah.
By the way, I want us in on some of that oil you guys are going to find, as well as the treasures under the ground there, Solomon's Temple in what? Qumran, Dr. Rob?
Yeah, Qumran. Yes. Yeah.
Qumran? Is that what it's called?
I think that. Yes, it is Qumran, and the timing is always critical, and so this is a crazy time to be treasure hunting there. So
there could be trillions of dollars under the ground there. Trillions. Yeah,
there'll be more treasure hunters coming in, more nation treasure hunters coming in. If they would go after precious metals, you can imagine what this will attract among nations, according to Ezekiel 38 and 39.
Brannon?
Let me give you some more footage real quick, Aaron. Here is some more footage of the civilians being hit by these missiles there in Israel tonight, Aaron. Go ahead.
Yes. That's in Israel, is it?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, that's probably either in Haifa or in down in the south. But I just got a report an hour ago saying thanks that the fact that everyone pretty much ran to their bomb shelters means that the casualties were almost zero this time. But I just got an update saying, and I'm not sure if this refers to earlier or right now, at least 5 key personnel in the Revolutionary Guards were killed in the Israeli attack on the Khoramabad missile sites. That's probably referring to before. But the other thing is right now, as we're talking, in the heart of Tehran, the Iranians are chanting from their homes, death to the dictator, death to Khomeini. This is live right now.
I just sent a video.
Go to that
of it,
video.
Logan.
Go to that, please, Logan. Logan's about to load it. By the way, folks, let me just drop in here real quick if I can. Look, when we're off the air, we're still working. I was up till late grabbing a lot of videos and research and reading. Up early this morning, reading and grabbing a lot of this footage you're seeing. You guys cannot believe the amount of hours that we put into research and preparing videos and trying to get up on what's happening to bring you these reports live. We don't just roll in here with a suit on and start blabbing. Hours of preparation, hours of reading, hours of collecting videos. So again, it's Father's Day. I had every intention of being off. I'm sure Dr. Rob and Aaron, of course, they don't really have a day off. They're in Israel right now. They're running to bunkers back and forth. But we were going to be off today, folks. I'm not complaining. I'm just simply saying if you appreciate what we're doing, we need your support. So we brought in some of the team today to produce this. So that's a budget that's being used today that we were not counting on. Money being spent today when everything should have been quiet and dark today. No money being spent other than on our streaming. So again, I think yesterday I saw $90 come in online. Are you serious, people? Are you serious? Are you serious? $90 I saw come in yesterday for the whole day. Really? That's fine. Yeah. Keep that up. Keep that up. And I'll put all this behind a paywall and only the people that can afford it will get it. I don't want to do that. But that's unacceptable. We put out all kinds of reports for you guys and $90 online yesterday. That was the total. I saw the report. I was like, are you kidding me? So some of you that are already helping us, supporting us, thank you. Some of you guys, you can help me. I know how you live. I know who some of you are. And you listen all the time. I know your lifestyle. That's fine. God bless you. I have no problem with it. But you watch all the time. Because you tell us you do, but your name is not in our database. And by the way, let me just say, some of you that complain and bellyache and whine the most, we also check your name, 0. So guess what we do to you? We block your emails so we don't hear from you anymore. It's not like I'm being tough, because I am. Because I'm sick of people that want to bellyache at my staff, bellyache at our network, complain. You know what else to do? I say, go check and see if that person's ever sent a nice email. Go check it and see if they've ever sent an email thanking us. No. They bellyache, but never a nice email, and they've never given. Go check the database. Never given, never sent a nice email, but bellyache. You know what I say? I say to my guys, block their emails. Don't ever answer them again. Lose our email address. So to those of you supporting us, thank you. To those who are not, keep it up. And this will all go behind a stream. It'll all go behind a paywall. And you can be in the dark like most other Americans. Worldviewfoundation.com, worldviewfoundation.com. And there's not just that way to support us. Thank you to all of you that go to Bella Grace. You can support us that way. That counts as support. Bella Grace, Numi, Gatatana, that all counts as support, by the way. So if you're like, well, I'd like to get something for my support, that's great. Wonderful. Go to worldviewtube.com/sponsors. That is another way to support us. And you're getting something. worldviewtube.com/sponsors. But I'll tell you what, the whole staff knows the name of a collection of people that send in emails bellyaching all the time. And it blows our mind as much as we do and give to people. And all they do is complain. Somebody sent an email last night. I thought you guys were going to carry the parade. We're all missing out. I'm like, sweetheart, that parade is being carried everywhere. And I watched like 10 minutes of it, was bored out of my mind when I got off the air. Okay? Really? We were on with a panel last night giving you great information, and someone's belly aching because we're not carrying the parade that's available at a million different places. But you're not going to get the panel I assembled last night anywhere but here. So to the complainers, knock it off. To the people supporting us, thank you very much. Let's go to that video, please, Logan. Now that's the voice of a child and being answered by an adult. What is that child saying, Annie?
They're the main voice, so one of the neighbor is the loudest. He says it, and then the neighbors repeat after him. And what you're hearing is actually a female, probably a
female.
teenage.
Okay,
yes,
but it sounds like a very
early
young
20s.
voice.
Yes.
Yeah, it sounds young.
But they're basically saying death to Khamenei, death to dictator, forever Shah Pahlavi, King Pahlavi, and then they say Prince Pahlavi will come back. That's what they're saying.
Here comes another one.
سعادت آباد 25 خرداد.
That is in Saadat Abad, Tehran, last night, Iran time. Death to Khamenei, death to Islamic Republic.
Wow. Well, yet, I'm sorry, I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed that our commander...
Oh, Trump can't fix it.
Yeah, I'm embarrassed that our commander-in-chief is wanting to go back to the table and negotiate with the butchers of Baghdad, while the people are literally crying out for freedom and against the butcher of Baghdad. I mean, I just cannot believe the PR problem. But maybe he doesn't have a PR problem, Annie, because there's so many people in the MAGA movement that have made him out to be a demagogue, to be honest with you. He can do no wrong.
Of course. And also, remember, as of right now, MAGA members are still defending him, saying, America first. He's avoiding war. He's staying out of it because he promised America first, and that's what he's doing. Now, what MAGA members aren't thinking about is America first. Let's draw a wonderful and gorgeous picture for a minute. As Netanyahu said about 2 hours ago, the result of this war could be a change of regime in Iran by hands of its own people. I love the fact that he's very careful so they don't accuse him of anything. Let's say this happens. The result of this war ends up with Iranian people toppling the regime. By grace of God, Prince Pahlavi takes temporary government in Iran. How our American people are going to feel like when neither Iran nor Israel would consider America an ally anymore? Just the economy part of that damage is good enough to say, no, Trump is not being America first, avoiding war because he promised no more endless wars. No. I mean, I'm pretty sure that they will get here where I can say, well, I told you. Because this isn't a never-ending war. The way Israel is coordinating, planning, and delivering, I agree with Aaron. I don't think we're going to have more than a week or 10 days of this. It's going to be done. And by done, I don't mean Trump's going to make a deal or airing some sort of ceasefire. No, I mean it will be completely done once and for all. Khamenei and Islamic revolution will collapse. Do I know what's going to be the first day is going to look like? No, I don't. But that's still a huge step that should have been taken years ago, starting 2009.
Did we lose Dr. Rob Logan? He had to drop off because he said, I have to drop off because I've got to get some people to the airport. Wow.
But I do have confirmation, by the way, is another major target. I'm sorry. The latest attack by Israel actually took out the Iranian foreign ministry building in Tehran. Yes.
All right, we're going to get ready to wrap so that people can go about their Father's Day. The latest, I guess, is Benjamin Netanyahu is saying that when it comes to assassinating Khomeini, we will do what is necessary, right?
Yeah, that's what he's making very clear. But I did read today that Trump vetoed Israel's decision to do that. But that could be just a political statement, him saying that. Does that necessarily mean that he is handcuffing Israel and moving ahead with that? Not really.
He can't.
Is it wrong, Aaron, for us to ask our audience to pray that one of Iran's missiles would go astray by the breath of God and take out the Al-Aqsa Mosque?
No, it's not wrong at all, Brannon. but the consequences would be amazing. So
What would those consequences be?
You'd get the Temple Mount faithful would be up there in a matter of seconds with their hammers and nails putting together an altar and the foundations for the temple. You can guarantee it.
So let's all pray, if God's will, that one of these missiles by Iran takes out the Al-Aqsa Mosque. Let's pray for that. If that's God's will, let's pray for that. You know, where I got that idea actually was from the late, great Dr. Jimmy DeYoung. Dr. Jimmy DeYoung used to joke all the time, maybe one way this will be solved is one of these missiles will go astray and take it out. And I just kind of brought back to my memory him joking about that so many times. And wouldn't that just be sweet irony and justice, Aaron?
It would. It would be, and I think it would be just amazing, almost like a sign. You know, it would definitely be, it would create an opportunity, that's for sure.
Brannon, if I could,
yes.
I guess breaking. Iran's, well, I should say IRGC's general just put in a statement out on TV, and he said Iran may be forced to take actions that could destabilize the entire region. Mohsen Rezai, the IRGC general commander, just said that. He said the war could continue for weeks and urged citizens to inspect their rooftops for possible Israeli micro-aerial vehicles. So I don't know if I should translate this, that they might actually go for a nuke or not, but I just wanted to say this is the latest statement that was just released.
Why would you think that might be what they're saying?
We might have to cross our own red lines. That I can't see Islamic Republic of Iran or IRGC having any red lines except nuking Israel. That's the only red line they don't want to cross. They'll prefer to wipe Israel off without the nuke. Because remember, it's the Holy Land. They're not supposed to chemically destroy it. So that's from the we might have to cross our own red lines sentence. That's what it tells me. Because there is no other red line when it comes to Israel and the land of Israel with IRGC.
Let's get ready to wrap. What do you think the next couple days brings, Aaron?
I think maybe the question is, what's the next couple of hours going to bring? Because
yes.
With 200 Israeli jets on the way, anything can happen. But if you're sending 200 jets, Brannon, I mean, I don't know enough about strategies and tactical things, but they're obviously going to be doing some pounding tonight. So I really don't know how to answer that question.
Speaking of jets, does this look like a Israeli female fighter pilot?
It does, actually.
Yeah, it does.
That's what we're being told, that's one of the Lioness returning back onto the ground.
Good for her. God bless her.
Yeah, good for her.
Yeah.
Amen.
Annie, what do you think? You think the Khomeini lasts the week?
Khomeini?
Yeah, Khomeini.
Khomeini will. Yes.
Khomeini will. Okay, he'll last the week, huh?
He will, and I'll tell you why. So, as of right now, reports, very reliable reports, Khomeini and both his sons have been moved to their underground bunker in Mashhad. That's, by the way, is the very first report you started this broadcast with, Brannon. The 2,300 kilometer of distance they shot. The name of the town was Mashhad. It's a strongly believed that's why they're trying to shoot there. They moved Khomeini and his sons to the farthest distance to Israel in an underground bunker. Now, how long they can last in that bunker, knowing that inside the country, the internal opposition can actually start marching on the streets and take over, and it is done. And then later they find him and his sons like they found Saddam Hussein. That's up to him. If he chooses to leave the bunker with his sons and try to either make from there making his way to Russia would be very impossible. By getting him farther from Israel, they also got him very farther from Russia as well. So that will be a challenge. Possibly making his way. He doesn't have any alliance with Taliban, so going to Afghanistan would be a bad idea. They trapped him. They were desperate enough, so desperate times make for desperate measures. They made a wrong move by moving him to Mashhad, so he's trapped there. But as I said, it could easily be a week. Does that mean he's going to continue being a supreme leader and lead and be the commander-in-chief? I don't think so. I also have very reliable sources telling me that IRGC did that on purpose. They got him out of the way by putting him in those bunkers. IRGC is going to try to take command. And that's where you immediately hear the commander saying, we might cross our red lines. Khamenei won't let that. I answered that on your show, I think last night too. I said they won't nuke Israel because Khamenei said build the nukes, but never use it on land of Israel because we are forbidden by Allah to chemically disturb the land, Holy Land. So maybe that's what it is. I think I just overwhelmed your audience with way too much information.
What do you think of that? No, you're fine. They love it. What do you think of that, Aaron?
Yeah, I mean, if that is true, that is quite striking, really. And so all these threats are kind of a manipulation, a way of keeping us at bay, a way of dominating us. But that's a very theological big issue. On one hand, it weakens them. On the other hand, it still doesn't take away the threats that they continue to throw at us. But we're dealing with that now. We are dealing with that.
Absolutely.
And also, Aaron, the manipulation is also for the people. I think what the IRGC says, again, I went over this very briefly yesterday. They're thinking the chants are death to Khamenei. If we get him out of the way in a bunker somewhere where he has no power, we can tell people, hey, calm down. He's not even making any calls. He's nowhere to be found, to buy time from the people of Iran itself. Because the very first thing that's going to happen, without a doubt, it already happened yesterday. The Islamic Supreme Leader formatting collapsed. It's over. So IRGC needs to reformat. So they're trying to manipulate both Israel and people of Iran by saying there is no Supreme Leader. Let's say we're reformatting the whole regime. There's all over. Let us defend you. Take the enemy out, and then we will sit down and talk about a new government.
Yeah. Exciting days.
Let me ask you both in closing. Do you believe President Trump understands, first of all, what percentage of Americans are frustrated? While we appreciate so much of what President Trump has done, what President Trump is trying to do, and I don't want to overshadow any of that. I really appreciate a lot of what he's done, what he's trying to do. But do you think that what percentage of Americans understand that it's not appropriate to be talking about coming back to the table with these butchers when Israel is on the verge of eliminating them and freeing the people? What percentage of Americans, and even maybe percentage of the MAGA crowd, get this, Annie?
10 to 15% of Americans, 0% of MAGA population understand.
They're that what? They're that.
I mean, I can't, bad comparison probably, but I mean, how many Muslims are going to stop a jihadi from blowing itself up? A cult is a cult, and the cult rules are the cult rules, and the cult leader is a cult leader. It might have different names and rules and regulations and level of violence versus peace, but MAGA has turned into a full-on cult. Trump can do no wrong, and MAGA members will support him to death. So they're not going to acknowledge or understand or comprehend what he's doing is putting us in a very weak position.
Well, I pray that's not the case. I pray that many in the MAGA crowd say, hey, we appreciate, like I do, we appreciate Donald Trump when he gets it right. But like I said, when he won, when he gets it right, we're going to tell you, thank you, Mr. President, great job. And when he doesn't, we're going to say, hey, wait a minute, this is not acceptable. This is not what you should be doing. Now, I agree. I'm not interested in going to World War III. I've been pretty consistent, no boots on the ground. I've been consistent with all that, right? There's the crowd saying, go in all the way, boots on the ground. The other crowd saying, stay out, do nothing. We've been consistent saying we're all for selling Israel everything they need, sell them everything they got. If we need to help them knock down some missiles, I mean, they're a rich nation. They can pay it, or they can run a tab, and they can work it off with providing our country with different things. Technology, they got great technology. Intelligence, like great intelligence. We can work out deals, right? So give them what they need, sell it or put it on credit, but we don't need boots on the ground. I've been very consistent about that, right?
So have I been. If people go back and watch my appearances on your show from March 14 all the way until today, I have repeatedly said, President Trump, please just get out of the way.
Right.
We don't want anything, nothing. We don't want any. Yes, at the beginning on March 16 or 17, you asked me if you would just call President right now and say, okay, this is what you need to do. If you remember, I said step 1, get out of Israel's way, let them do what they need to do. Step 2, stop talking to the laws. Step 3, bring the prince in front of the fireplace.
Bring the prince in front of the fireplace. Yeah. So what he's doing now, though.
Steps.
But what he's doing now is continuing to talk about going back to the table, which is making Israel look bad. That's part of my concern, too. It's making as though Israel somehow is doing something wrong. This would be like us fighting the CCP that's taken over Mexico, and we're fighting and about to take out the CCP in Mexico, and we've got the Prime Minister of Israel telling us, come back to the table to negotiate with the CCP and live in harmony next to each other. We're like, that's not possible. They've been killing us and raping our people, and they ran over into our country and raped a bunch of our folks and did whatnot, like an October 7th type event. And you eventually would say, the Prime Minister of Israel needs to be quiet. They're making us out to be bad people because we're trying to take care of the CCP that started all this. Well, that's how I feel that President Trump is making Israel look bad, like Israel doing something wrong to finish off the mullahs when you're trying to call them back to the table. Is that a fair assessment, Aaron?
No, I don't think people are seeing Israel in those eyes. In fact, in some ways, quite the opposite, because I don't really hear many people condemning Israel for attacking.
No, I don't either. But if you're calling the mullahs to come back to the table, let's get a peace deal, don't you think that in the eyes of some, it's going to give the idea that Israel's gone too far? They did this with you on Gaza. You guys went too far. You've gone too far. You need to stop. Right. You need to stop. If this narrative continues, it's going to be, well, Israel went too far again.
Yeah, people might interpret it that way, but they also might interpret it the other way, where they may say, he's just being a peacemaker. He's just trying to be a peacemaker.
Give me that again, Logan. Do you have a... Iranian official is saying that Israel will not be inhabitable soon. That's what Iran is spouting off.
1 second.
That's what Insider Paper is putting out. Whether that's just more hot air. I mean, is the regime kind of known for making a lot of threats they don't follow through on, Annie, or are they not known for that?
Oh, they are. They're known for making a lot of threats that it's just empty threats, especially when they're cornered.
Yeah.
That's their expertise. Like, as Aaron said, right now they're going to say whatever it takes. Like earlier today, they're like, we haven't even used our advanced equipment yet. I'm like, what are you talking? Why? What are you waiting for? Like, they took out your entire government. What are you waiting for? They're very good at saying things when they're cornered or when they feel like, okay, this might be over. They come with a lot of bluff, a lot of it.
All right. We're going to leave it there. We've been going for an hour and a half. We're going to leave it there for now. If we have to come back, we will. And we want to let folks know, lighttoTheNationsMinistry.com is Aaron, lighttoTheNationsMinistry.com, on the ground in Israel. Annie is liveuptofreedom.com, liveuptofreedom.com, and liveuptofreedom.substack.com. Annie, you also have an art store. We do art, right?
Yes, I still do my art, and the artist store is still up and running. All pieces are handmade by myself. All the material used are U.S. made, and you can check them out at LUTFstudio.com. That's LUTF Studio. There's no S at the end, just a studio.com, and pick up as many pieces of arts as you want, which would be very helpful. As Brannon said, when we hop on and do these since Thursday night, bills pile up.
Yep. Everybody's got to make a living. Live Up to Freedom. It's LUTFST. It's actually
Studio.
LUTF Studio. Live Up to Freedoms, what the acronym is. LUTF Studio.com. handmade.com. Handmade artwork by Annie Cyrus. Okay. Thank you, guys. Be safe, particularly you, Aaron. And let us know if there's any breaking news that we need to come back for.
I will. Thanks, Brannon. Thanks, Annie.
Thank you, Annie.
Be safe, Aaron. Thank you.
I hope the rest of you enjoy the rest of Father's Day. I'm going to go spend some time with Logan, Melissa, Dolly. And before we do, though, Melissa did bring me my energy drink, my Gatatana that I take every day. I give half a scoop to Dolly on her food every morning. It is loaded one scoop, and it's a teeny little scoop, 90 billion, the equivalent of 90 billion plant cells. They have the pet product that is amazing. This is what we give to Dolly. You can give it to your cats as well. There's a cat that had a tumor. They got it on Gatatana, and the tumor is gone. By the way, remember the guy that started this? They gave him a terminal diagnosis. He started eating the phytoplankton he was raising for shellfish, and he lived another 10 years, retired to Hawaii. Not making a claim. I'm just telling you what happened. So David Hunter, who was working with Tom Harper, said, I think we better produce this into a powder. And so they started producing this, and Gatatana was born. And you can get it at melissahousegpa.com. Highly recommend that you get a subscription so it shows up at the door. The other thing that I take each and every day, in addition to my Gatatana, is I also take my Bella Grace. That's melissahousebg.com. Powerful elixir. These are great ways to support us, and you get something in return, by the way. So I highly recommend that. If you go over to worldviewtube.com/sponsors, by the way, you're going to find out about the 3 things I do every day, really 4. Think about it. I swish with the Numi. That's loaded with glutathione to detox your cells. I do the Bella Grace. I do the Gatatana, which I think we passed up here. Where'd it go? There it is. Now, the 4th thing I do every day is I drink this water. I drink this water from this water filter at worldviewwater.net, and I shower with it. My wife was watching me again today, get ready for TV, and she said, you know, that thinning spot up there at the top of your head is almost completely covered. And I said, you know, I think it's not just the glutathione, just the Bella Grace. I think it's the Gatatana, and I think it's the water filter. I'm not washing my hair with all those chemicals. I think it's all of these things. So again, I give credit to Bella Grace, Gatatana, Numi, and my water filter that I'm not only drinking this good water, but this is what I shower with, which is going to be great for your hair. By the way, tomorrow I'm going to bring you pictures. 2 weeks ago tomorrow, Melissa clipped off some, what do you call them? Hydrangeas? She clipped off some of these hydrangeas. She loves those things. And put them in some of this filtered water. 2 weeks tomorrow is when that happened. They look just like the day she put them in there. She says normally within a couple of days they're turning and, they're dying. It'll be 2 weeks tomorrow, Monday. She put those hydrangeas in there, and they look like the day she put them in there 2 weeks ago. We've had another lady send us pictures of fresh flowers she had cut, put in this filtered water. Same thing happened. Now we've seen it for ourselves. So if that water is preserving those flowers for 2 weeks tomorrow, when it normally would be showing, signs of wilting and dying and death in a couple of days, what does that say about that water? And what does it say about it when we drink it or when I give it to my dog, Dolly, right? Worldviewwater.net, I highly recommend it because I'll tell you what you're not getting in that water because it's highly filtered. When you go to worldviewwater.net, you'll find out you're not putting ammonia in that water. It's out. Lead, copper, chlorine, arsenic, pesticides, all this stuff is out. No wonder the hydrangeas are lasting now 2 weeks in that water like the first day she cut them and put them in there. So I think it's the collection of the things that I'm doing, folks. And all of it is at worldviewtube.com/sponsors, worldviewtube.com/sponsors. Hey, what we've done the last few days is all posted now at worldviewtube.com. It's all posted up there for you to share with your friends. This will go up there pretty quick today, too, at worldviewtube.com. By the way, thank you to all of you that are supporting us. Because all of a sudden, after my little chastisement and encouragement and then appreciation for those that are, I'm seeing more support come in. So thank you to all of you that are supporting us and have been so faithfully for so long. And thank you to those that are now just starting to do so. We really do appreciate it. So we can keep the stream open and pushing it out, and that we have the budgets to be able to go live. Because again, today our budgets were supposed to be completely quiet, not having a control room budget being used at all. But a lot of times at night too, we've been going a lot later, a lot longer, which means I'm chewing up budgets, paying guys in the control room that should have clocked out and gone home, and I'm not paying them. So again, to be able to bring you programming like this and go later at night means I have to have the budget, because guess what? Every 2 weeks, these guys are handing me their time card. They're handing me their timesheet, and they're saying, these are my hours for the last 2 weeks. I'm like, holy cow, how did you work that many hours? Well, you remember all the special programming you did? Oh, yeah. So I don't want to have to cut out the special programming. I need to have the budget to say, yep, we're going late tonight. Oh, yep, we're going live on Saturday night or Saturday or Sunday night, or what we do already for our Bible study, or Sunday afternoon like we're doing now, because we have the budget to pay the folks in the control room and to do it. So again, thank you for your support. Worldviewfoundation.com, worldviewfoundation.com. Now, don't forget, if you get our app at worldviewtube.com/apps, you'll get a push notification when we go live. So get our free apps for iPhone or Android. They're free. We spent thousands of dollars building those, and they're free. Free programming and free distribution platforms. Our free Roku channel, our free iPhone app, our free Android app, all of that, right? Worldviewtube.com/apps to get the free apps and choose to get notifications. And that means that when Logan sends out a push notification, hey, we're going live, you'll get it and you'll know right away. So please do that and tell your family and friends about it, okay? And if you don't know how to turn on those notifications, some of you say, I already have the app. How do you do it? I don't know how you do it once you get the app downloaded. You should have that option. Go into your settings on your phone, go to notifications, scroll down till you see Worldview Tube, and you turn notifications on for Worldview Tube. There you go. That's how you do it. All right? So if you have the app already, go to your settings, go to notifications, scroll down the page till you see the app for Worldview Tube, and then choose turn on notifications for Worldview Tube. Then you'll get our push notifications, which really begs the question, Logan, do I even have my settings on for that? You said probably not. I'm going to go down there to notifications. I'm going to scroll down till I see Worldview Tube and do it myself. Scrolling. Logan, why am I not seeing Worldview Tube? Did I skip it? I don't see my own.
Do you even have our app downloaded?
Do I even have the app? I don't know. That's your job. Did you put it on my phone?
You don't even have our app.
I don't have the app. So he's going to get me the app. Well, that's why I couldn't find the notifications on there, right? So I'm about to get the app. Now, if you download it for the first time, it'll give you the option, right? You need my face? Is it even going to work? You need my password? I don't know that. That's probably somewhere in an underground bunker somewhere, hidden. Now it work by my face?
Yeah.
It's downloading now. Oh, look at that. Now, look. So now when you go to download it, it says, Worldview Tube, would you like to send you notifications? Say allow. Don't say don't allow. Say allow. So I'm going to hit allow. There we go. So now I'll get my own notifications, right, Logan?
Say what?
I'll get my own notifications when you push them out. All right, now if I were to go to settings again, I'm going to go see if that worked. Go to settings, then go to notifications. Now scroll down and look for the Worldview Tube app. For those of you who already have it, want to turn it on. I'm going to go down there and see if I see Worldview Tube now in my app, in list of apps. Whoop, there it is. And yep, I have sounds on. I have badges on. What's badges? That's what pops up is the badges. And I have both of them going green, which means I'm now getting them. So there we go. Didn't we learn a lot thanks to Logan tonight? Oh, so for all of you this afternoon. So for all of you that are trying to get the push notifications, if you have the app, that's how you do it. And if you don't get the app, spread the word about it. It's free. We spent several $1,000s building that app. so you can get it on your phone. And it's shocking how many people watch us on their phones, isn't it, Logan? The majority of you, Logan says, watch us on your phone. That in Roku. You would think it would be our website, or I don't know. I would think it would be the website, but I guess phone makes sense. Or does that include iPads, you think, Logan? Maybe. But the majority of people watching on Roku does not include iPads, he says. There's a separate counter for the iPads. I would think those would be very popular because they're so big. You just sit anywhere, watch. Right now, more people are watching on Windows? So you mean like the old Windows computers? Well, they don't have to be old, but to me they're old, but they're not old. He's a big Windows fan. I'm not a big Windows fan. I love my Macs. He loves Windows. But that's what you're working on in there right now, isn't it? So right now, Windows is beating Apple. Windows, then iOS, then what? Then Roku. And then Android. Huh. At this current moment. How he knows all that, where he gets all that from, I have no idea. But that's why we have a good team here, don't we? All right, there you go. There you go. worldviewtube.com/apps, worldviewtube.com/apps. All right, Logan, what are you making me for dinner? He has no idea. You're not making anything? What is your mother going to make? She's going to make me something, right? Because I haven't eaten today other than a bowl of yogurt and some blueberries. You heard broccoli salad. I love that. With some bacon in it. With the cheese one. The broccoli casserole with the cheese. Ooh, I like that. Oh, and the cheesy potatoes? Well, we're taking in a lot of cheese today, aren't we? I guess the folks in Wisconsin should be happy. Well, let's go do that. Let's go see what she's making. And I hope you have a great Father's Day. Now, we won't have our normal church service tonight because it's Father's Day. So let's play last week's for tonight. Logan, that sound good? All right, so we'll do that. All right, I hope you guys have a great afternoon. We'll break in as is required by news, but maybe Aaron and Dr. Rob can get a good night's sleep, as well as the folks of Israel. Pray for the folks in Israel. Pray for the folks in Iran that want freedom. Pray for those people tonight too, right? And that Dr. Rob Lindstedt and his folks can get out and get back here to the U.S. All right, thanks for watching. Till next time, I'm Brannon Howse. May God save America and Israel. Take care.
Better science leads to better outcomes. So by understanding the science in much more intimate detail, delivering a value product that is so different from anybody else.
So when we're stepping outside into seasonal changes, low humidity, sunlight, pollution, all of these things get communicated as stress on the top layer of skin that produces free radicals, and they're bad news for collagen networks. They're going to break down the collagen network and collapse that beautiful tensile strength of your skin. And so that's how we end up with fine lines and wrinkles. Bella Grace is really an elevated formula.
Better than the competition for very obvious reasons. First of all, we're delivering great collagen. We're delivering Verisol, which is the world's most studied form of collagen. So we're starting at a foundation that's really top-notch.
So here is a lady today. She's taken the elixir, arthritis in her hands. She could not close her hands and make a fist, but after now being on the elixir, now she can.
The real breakthrough discovery, particularly with the cat's claw, it's a switch that regulates genes. There's thousands of genes that are involved in that inflammation process. When you have chronic inflammation, the problem is the switch is